Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Scaling Deep podcast. I am your host, Lisa Princik, and I am all about running your membership program as simply, as easefully, and by having as much fun as you can. And part of that fun comes into the focus of your membership really relying on your zone of genius. And that's what I am really thinking about a lot lately in my own business, about like, what is it that I love to do and that I can do easily? And how can I allow that to come more into everything I do and focus more of my energy using those traits and skills so that I don't have to do as much like pushing boulders up the hill that are always going to feel difficult because I just don't find them as natural and easy to do. So that's something that I've been spending a little bit more time thinking about. It's how to like really focus on that. And what is that for you? For me, it is things like positioning and even copywriting, like really understanding value propositions versus gimmicks and schemes and being the first or being the latest or the biggest or the loudest. That's not really my specialty. And that really can work too. If brands are building in a big way because they're simply just out there or known. And while that sometimes just comes across our desk with a great shout out or mention or super fan, sometimes it's harder to find, and we have to work for that visibility and work too hard in a way that's not natural. So let's talk more about what is natural. And today I want to talk more about upsells. My message is don't forget about the upsell in your membership, because that's often where the profit will be. I'm always saying to people, like, try to focus on selling less. Like when people have like 100 things they're selling, I know there's people who have business models that are really successful because they sell a lot of affiliate products and programs. They sell a bunch of different things and they're kind of always creating new things. And I do think that does work for a minority of people actually, but I think a lot of people are really good at focusing on selling one thing. Now that one thing can have a lot of features and different aspects to it, but it could be like, a membership is a lot going on inside. You create a bit of content. You sometimes do a bit of membership and coaching. Sometimes it's all about connecting people, but there's going to be something in there that you are the best at. And that always makes it easy to also build funnels, is by knowing, well, what is it that I really want to sell? And then what do I really want to sell first? And then what can I sell later? So that's why I want to talk about the upsell. Now, the upsell can come in a variety of different ways. So the upsell can be, like I have, is a strategy session with me that allows people who join the Profitable Membership Club to get a chance to meet with me one-on-one in private and really work out something in advance in a focused and long way. Yes, I have mentorship inside the membership, but not everyone can make all the calls. And obviously with a private session, we get to set that up. That works. Well, they get to set that up. They get to choose an hour on my calendar. And they also just get a chance to get to know me, for me to get to know their business, so that when I am making a comment on something they're posting about, or they are showing up inside the mentoring call and they don't have all the time focused on them, they just will have a few minutes, maybe 5, maybe 10, depending on how many people show up. I know more about them and I can help them in a more meaningful way, because instead of just throwing out advice or quick comments without understanding the context, I get the context. That's really popular. A lot of people want that personalized attention. And so for me, like, it comes to my members. They get a great deal to buy those sessions with me within the membership, but I also offer it right away when people purchase the Profitable Membership Club. They purchase their 6 months access, and then they can also add this in. And I was surprised at how many people bought it. So for the people who have bought in recently, when I've had this up and running, a third of them have bought the 1 hour private strategy session. Now, the other thing I want to say about that is that was a surprise, of course, and partly it was because the price point isn't low. It is expensive compared to the membership, not more than the membership offer. It's still less than half of the total membership offer that they're buying, but it's still quite a bit. Like, it's not an add $50 to 500 or that kind of thing, or, you know, adding $100 to $1,000 purchase. It's definitely got a higher price point than just a small thing. And I think that's where sometimes we think that we can't have anything that's like meaningful enough or worth enough to make it worth doing. But sometimes it's all about what people actually need. Now, if somebody's buying into a membership program and they know they're going to get some attention and they know that they're going to get seen and known by me, but maybe not have all that time, this makes a lot of sense because it adds value based on whatever they already have. Which is why in a different kind of membership where they're not going to get that much attention, if there's lots of people in there and there aren't a lot of calls, or perhaps there are just live Q&As where there's not a real two-way connection that's back and forth as much, or there's just some kind of chat or texting, they may not get that same feel. So selling something that's that different. So say if you have a membership that is only $50 a month, it might be hard to sell something for hundreds of dollars on top of that, especially if they're also buying month to month. So is there something that you can offer that does kind of add to their experience of your membership and gives them a little bit more at the same time they're already making that purchase? Because that's a great thing about an upsell or even an order bump, that they're already there. They're already got them to the place of making a decision about buying something from you. And I think that's the hardest part. Since I've been running my funnel over the last few months and watching the numbers and seeing how many people are even opening emails when they sign up for something, or even watching the video training that they sign up for, which is fascinating because a lot don't. It depends on where they're coming from. The interesting thing about that is that when you actually get people to pay attention, to open up an email and read it, that's half the battle. When you actually get them to watch the training or consume the freebie, the lead magnet that they have signed up for, that's half the battle. Now, the other 45% of that battle is getting them to just look at the offer and actually consider buying it. So if they are buying it, there's a good chance they're going to think, well, I've already committed. I've already decided this person is legit. I already know that they have something that I want and that I would likely be quite satisfied buying from them. Then there's a good chance that they will opt in for more, especially if you feel like you're offering something at a no-brainer price point. And a lot of memberships they just happen to be offers that are full of value and often offer more value than the price point, really. And that's partly because it's shared, and there's usually you can add as many people in there as possible, so there isn't that exclusivity feeling. Like when we buy memberships, we know we're not going to be like one of 10 often, and even though sometimes we happen to get in early, and we are. So that's why we've kind of got their attention. They've already decided that we're going to be offering something helpful, that is a topic they're interested in, and we've already passed the trust test. That's a great time for the upsell, and that's a great time to actually make some profit in our business. So I don't want you to feel like you can't offer something else when people are in the cart process. You can still make it really easy for them to purchase, but you can give them an option to look at what else they can get to really enhance their experience. So my first, suggestion is to really think about what that is. What do you love to deliver? What do you have? I wouldn't just throw in anything. I'm like, oh, now that you bought this, why don't you buy this? Like, that's okay if you just got a whole bunch of different items that people have liked and you're just kind of like mix and matching, fine. But if you really want to offer something of value, like really think that through, because you want to give them a great overall experience. So that satisfaction in that buying decision will, and then delivery of it and consumption of that thing that you upsell will really make a difference in their whole membership experience. And secondly, I would really suggest that you go simple. So when I first decided to do an upsell, I thought, well, I'm going to have to create a sales page. I'm like, oh, another sales page, because they always take longer than I think. Even if I already know what I'm writing about and I already have a template for it, it still takes me a while because I really start thinking through all the different aspects of helping people make a sales decision. But you know what? I didn't do that. I simply added an order bump, not an order bump, actually, it was an upsell in my Thrivecart funnel. And it's a great design. I basically just copied the design from other Thrivecart offers that I have for that. And I added some bullet points and a couple testimonials, and it was enough to get people to purchase something that I think is $350. So it does not have to be complex. It doesn't have to be distracting. It can be super minimal, especially when we're just throwing something in there that's already been created or that we have an easy system set up to deliver. And we can just get it up there and see what happens. And then literally you can change it up. If it doesn't work, offer something different. It doesn't matter. But I really just want to encourage you to think about your membership as a place to further your relationship, create more opportunities to work together, more people who you can help with your products or your services, because that is your captivated audience. Those are the people who want to buy from you, who want to support you, who want to get support from you. And it's really just a no-brainer thing to do. So hope that you can do that. And I also want to mention here that I'm doing something for Black Friday, which I haven't done before because I think that I've just never really had the thing that I really want to put out there. And I am going to be, hint, hint, opening up the doors to my Profitable Membership Club and adding a really, really special and highly valuable bonus. So that's what you need to keep your eyes peeled for in the next week. Just over a week, you'll see this come out. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be really, really valuable. And I think it makes it an absolute no-brainer to get inside the Profitable Membership Club, where there's a lot of amazing conversations happening and real help happening inside. So thanks for being here today. Keep your eyes peeled for that email, and I'll talk to you next week.